Under the boundless expanse of the cosmos, the human-led intergalactic coalition celebrated an exceptional moment in its storied history. For the first time in what felt like eons, humanity was poised to welcome a new member into its fold, the Arcturians, a species whose ethos and values had seemingly aligned with the rare convictions upheld by the coalition. In a universe where the fabric of society often wove threads of hierarchy and servitude into its very essence, the coalition stood as a beacon of resistance, championing ideals of freedom, equality, and dignity for all sentient beings. The ceremony, set against the backdrop of Earth's majestic blue oceans and sprawling green continents, viewed from the grand orbital platform, was nothing short of awe-inspiring. Representatives from various coalition species gathered, their diversity a testament to the strength and unity derived from shared principles rather than shared cultures. As the formalities concluded and the assembly transitioned to a more intimate setting, discussions began to flow freely, a mixture of hope, speculation, and retrospection. It was during one such conversation that Ambassador Jane Liu, a seasoned diplomat and Earth's representative, addressed the gathering.
It's a rare occasion we find ourselves here, at the cusp of welcoming a new member into our coalition.
Liu began, her voice calm yet carrying a weight that commanded attention.
The Arcturians have shown a remarkable alignment with one of our core beliefs, a commitment to the abolition of slavery, the upholding of personal freedoms, and the unwavering respect for sentient rights.
A murmur of agreement swept through the room. The coalition's stance on such matters was not just policy, it was a profound moral commitment. In a universe where the enslavement and exploitation of sentient beings were seen as the norm, the coalition's ideals were an anomaly, a beacon of hope in a sea of indifference. Ambassador Liu's gaze swept across the room, meeting the eyes of each fellow ambassador.
The galaxy at large operates on principles markedly different from ours,
she continued, her voice steady yet somber.
The prevalence of slavery, the commodification of sentient life, it's not just common, it's a foundation of many civilizations' economies and social structures.
The ambassadors shifted uneasily, some nodding grimly, others averting their eyes.
It's a trade that hides itself in many different ways.
Liu pressed on.
Be it religious, political, or racial. It seems the majority of the galaxy has accepted this practice as a way of life.
The Arcturian delegation exchanged glances, their expressions reflecting the oppression they had witnessed and endured.
But our coalition,
Liu declared, her voice rising with conviction,
is built on the bedrock of dignity, sovereignty, and the inherent value of all sentient life. These aren't mere words. They are the principles that guide our every thought, our words that open doors, and our actions that shine a light upon the darkness.
She paused, letting her words sink in.
As we welcome new allies into our fold, we do so with the confidence that these shared values will continue to be our strength, our compass.
Talrek, the Arcturian ambassador, inclined his head in gratitude, his eyes glistening with emotion.
We gather today not just to celebrate a new member to the coalition, but to proudly reaffirm the values that define us. As humans and allies from across the stars, we stand together as a beacon of hope in a universe that often seems shadowed by darker practices. Without upholding these values, the last remaining hope for freedom will be lost.
The room fell silent, the weight of the truth pressing down on the assembled. The coalition, for all its advancements and moral high ground, was an island in a vast, often hostile sea.
Yet herein lies our strength and our challenge,
Liu pointed out, her voice now imbued with a hint of defiance.
We stand as proof that civilizations can thrive without resorting to the subjugation of others. That freedom and equality aren't just lofty ideals, but practical pillars upon which prosperous societies can be built.
The conversation shifted as Ambassador Talrek of the Arcturians spoke up.
When we first learned of the coalition and its principles, it was as if a new dawn had broken over the dark night that had engulfed our species. The common practice of slavery, the oppressive systems dominating the galaxy, they had always sat uneasily within our hearts. Your coalition showed us another way, a path we eagerly choose to walk now.
The room erupted into soft, respectful applause, a collective acknowledgement of the Arcturians' choice and the difficult journey that lay ahead. As the ambassadors departed, the weight of the coalition's role settled upon them once more. It was a stark reality they knew all too well, yet each reminder was as sobering as the first. In a universe where their beliefs were actively threatened by pervasive norms, the coalition stood as the last bulwark against a tide of oppression that threatened to engulf the galaxy. The grand chamber where the coalition's assembly had gathered was almost empty, the formalities over and the celebratory atmosphere giving way to more contemplative discussions among the remaining few. Ambassador Jane Liu and Ambassador Thalaric, now in a quiet corner away from the dwindling crowd, exchanged a final few words that stripped away the earlier verbosity and sentimentality, cutting to the core of their shared challenge. Liu leaned in slightly, her voice lower, more earnest.
We welcome you and your people, knowing full well the galaxy we inhabit. Our coalition, bound by values so rare in the expanse of space, is more than just a union of species. It's a statement, a defiance against a norm that's governed the cosmos for too long.
Thalaric nodded, his expression somber, understanding the gravity of the path his people had chosen.
And yet, the pervasiveness of those norms acts as a constant reminder of how easily ideals can be eroded, forgotten in the vast sea of convenience and progression.
Liu's eyes locked onto Thalric's, a strong resolve emanating from her.
Exactly. It's a reminder to us all how easily values can vanish if not fiercely guarded. Our coalition isn't just preserving a culture, it's actively fighting for the survival of our ideals.
The room was nearly empty now, the silence echoing their solemn but crucial discourse. Liu continued,
The question we must all ask ourselves, and indeed, what we must ask of every civilization that stands at the crossroads as yours did, is this. In the face of overwhelming conformity, in a galaxy that may not just challenge but outright reject our principles, would we still stand firm? Would we fight for these ideals?
There was a poignant pause, the weight of her words hanging between them.
Because
She paused, her gaze drifting towards the stars visible through the panoramic viewports.
it's not just about embracing these values when they are celebrated and shared. It's about upholding them even when they're rare, when facing opposition that would sway the sturdiest of convictions. That is the true test.
Thalric, moved by Liu's candidness, offered a solemn nod. The conversation had distilled their grand purpose to its essence, a struggle against the tide, an uphill battle for what they deemed right, irrespective of its popularity or acceptance. As the ambassadors parted ways, the chamber now empty save for the echoes of their conversation, the reality of their undertaking settled in. In a universe where their beliefs were anomalies, the coalition's resolve was not just commendable, but essential. The stark departure from sentimentality didn't diminish the enormity of their task. If anything, it underscored it. And as the orbital platform continued its perpetual dance around Earth, the silent sentinel in space bore witness to a resolve that, though rare, was determined to spark change across the stars.